This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. A month after President Biden invoked the Defense Production Act to import emergency supplies of infant formula, many store shelves are still half empty. The federal government began importing infant formula from Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and elsewhere a month ago. That was done to address a shortage triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic, a major formula recall, and the closure of a plant related to that recall. Despite that effort, Tom Howell and Susan Ferricchio report many families with infants are still desperately searching for the next supply of formula. They've had to rely on social media groups to learn when store shelves are restocked or to buy from people who are selling or trading the cans. Those who need specialty formulas must go through a distribution pipeline, according to the Biden administration, that serves hospitals, home health companies, and women, infant, and children programs. The White House says that as of June 19th, Operation Fly Formula has imported nearly 13 million 8-ounce bottle equivalents of infant formula. Officials from the Food and Drug Administration say it could take months before the shortage eases. Republicans are preparing to take on Attorney General Merrick Garland if they win the House majority this fall, including mulling his impeachment. Kerry Pickett reports Republican lawmakers say they're upset with Garland for not enforcing laws against demonstrations at the homes of Supreme Court justices and allegedly using anti-terrorism resources to target parents that speak out at school board meetings. They say those moves may include impeachment, contempt charges, and slapping restrictions on the Department of Justice's funding. The Biden administration has been quietly packing the nation's immigration courts, installing judges deemed to be friendlier to the immigrants whose cases they hear. At least half a dozen judges hired during the Trump administration have been let go, Stephen Dinan reports. They're part of a massive upheaval in the Executive Office of Immigration Review, which has seen 4 of its top officials pushed out of their jobs. The Justice Department insisted its personnel decisions are based solely on performance, and the presidential administration an individual was hired in has no bearing on decisions related to performance or other evaluations. Immigration judges are administrative positions hired by the DOJ and don't go through Senate confirmation. There are about 590 judges who handle civil immigration matters. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch claims West Point cadets have been taught that whiteness connotes race privilege and structural advantage according to newly released course materials from the military academy. Joseph Clark reports the Department of Defense turned over more than 600 pages of documents, including presentation slides, course outlines, and emails about classroom instruction at the U.S. Military Academy. One presentation says that racism is ordinary, race is socially constructed, and white Americans have primarily benefited from civil rights legislation. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And finally, Colombia has become the latest Latin American nation to pivot hard to the left with Sunday's election of Gustavo Petro. Petro's victory sets the stage for a potentially major shift in U.S.-Colombia relations, our Guy Taylor reports, and signals an increasingly socialist tilt across the region. His win was the latest leftist political victory in Latin America, fueled by voters' desire for change. Chile, Honduras, and Peru elected leftist presidents in 2021, and in Brazil, former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is leading right-wing incumbent Jair Bolsonaro in the polls for this fall's presidential election. Petro has signaled a desire to restore diplomatic ties with Venezuela, which Colombia halted at the urging of the United States in 2019. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.